Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today, I wanted to have a discussion as to why the antagonist should win in Atlas, and I'm going to give some reasons as to why I do believe that the antagonist should actually come out on top in Atlas in Volume 7, and why they should win, and what good things can actually come out of their win. So sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. So Volume 7 is going to take place in Atlas, and one of the biggest events that's going to happen is the battle over Atlas. We're going to see the forces of Salem versus the forces of Atlas and Team RWBY. But one big important thing that I really do actually hope comes out of this volume is a victory on the side of the antagonist again. Now, I know what you all are probably thinking with me saying that I'd like to see the antagonist actually win. You all are probably thinking, well, you sound like you're crazy. This is insane. Why would you root for the antagonist this time around? This doesn't make any sense. Well, yeah, while I am actually rooting for the antagonist this time around, it's not that I have anything against the protagonist, and I will definitely love to see Weiss's arc and how that actually plays out, because I would love to see her character development and her growth. But one big important thing to me is that the antagonist actually gets some focus as well as Weiss does within the upcoming volume. And yes, while some of you were probably thinking, well, you're rooting for the antagonist because Neo's back, and we all know you love Neo. Okay, yes, I do love Neo's character, but that is not the entirety as to why I'm rooting for the antagonist. And while I am glad and excited to see what Neo is going to do in the volume, I'm also excited to see what the antagonists actually are going to do to try to take down Atlas. And considering that, also, we need to look back at the antagonist. As of recent, when it comes to their win-loss ratio, they haven't done too well. Volume 3 was definitely the peak of their victory, but then after their victory, when it comes to the fall of Beacon, Volumes 4 and beyond have really taken a decline for the antagonists when it comes to their victories. And more or less, if anything, it feels like their threat level as characters have really declined. It almost feels as if right now, currently, as from what we've seen, the antagonists feel more or less just obstacles for the protagonist to overcome. It doesn't really feel like the antagonists have really been a threat. And that's one of the biggest problems that I and many others have had with the antagonist characters. And I'm really hoping that with Volume 7, what they can do is they can really bring up the threat level of the antagonist. And seeing the way that they have been setting up things within Volume 6, Volume 6 was definitely more kind of like a filler volume, I guess you could say. I mean, yes, it still did give us some answers to some long-awaited questions, but then again, with certain characters, it still left questions that need to be answered eventually over time, which hopefully they will get to. And it also had a big build-up for the antagonist. And with what we did get to see in Volume 6, it shows that there might actually be a plan for the antagonist and what they're going to do with them in Volume 7, in which I'm really hoping to see something good come out of this. And maybe they'll get some good focus within the next volume. I mean, we're finally going to get to see Watts in battle. He's going with Tyrion to Atlas. That'll be interesting to see what Watts' capabilities are. Finally seeing Tyrion come back into combat with his new tail will also be a pretty cool thing to see, and who knows, maybe he'll have a vendetta against RWBY, or maybe he'll have a rematch with Crow. That would be pretty cool to see, actually. But also seeing them in Atlas, this could also really dive more into their characters as to why they joined Salem, and seeing Watts with his expertise when it comes to technology, this could also even let us know if he had some involvement with Atlas in the past before he joined Salem. So that would be pretty cool to see Watts be explored a little more there, as well as Tyrion. Who knows, maybe Tyrion was actually involved in Faunus discrimination in some way. Maybe Tyrion was actually a part of the Shnidas Company one time. Who knows? There could be so many different things that we may not even know about these characters yet that could be very interesting and have to do with Atlas. And not only that, but looking at Cinder's arc and Neo returning, they did really set this up pretty well, I think. And to see them finally team up to try to go to Atlas, Cinder trying to get the relic, as to where Neo will try to get revenge on RWBY, this will be interesting to see how their team up actually works out. Considering that we know they worked together back in Volume 3, this could be a very good potential chance to show how well these two work together again, but specifically Neo and Cinder, because in the past there was Roman, there was Emerald, and there was Mercury, but to now see the teamwork between Cinder and Neo would be very interesting, and who knows, maybe they have excellent teamwork, and maybe we'll get to see some veteran hunters fight them and they beat them because of their combined teamwork. And I mean, of course, there's going to be the point where they may fight RWBY. Since that's heavily implied, it could really show the power difference between Neo, Cinder, and RWBY. And I think that that would be a really cool thing they could do. They could beat RWBY, but in the end, nobody could die because not every situation has to be a life and death battle, but rather they could beat RWBY and something could happen to where either RWBY gets cut off from them or they get cut off from RWBY, and either Cinder and Neo have to escape or RWBY has to escape. That would be something interesting they could do and show the power difference between Cinder and Neo and RWBY, for example. And with Atlas, another big thing about Atlas has a high reputation amongst all of Remnant. It is technologically advanced, not only that, but it has what is believed to be the greatest military power in all of Remnant to top that off. And to see all of this power, all of this highly advanced technology fall to the antagonist would most certainly be a great feat when it comes to the antagonist and what they've been able to accomplish. And while the antagonist did win back in Volume 3, really showing that they were a threat, with all the planning and the scheming, it showed the power and the intelligence that the antagonist actually wielded. It did a lot for them. But if Atlas falls because of the antagonist, this can bring back their threat level, but not only that, this will also add to the threat level of the antagonist, because not only are they beating the Atlas military, but they would be beating them in Atlas, their own home turf, so that would be amazing for them. But at the same time, when it comes to Salem, because Salem is also sending Rem to fight, I think that Salem should not directly take on the Atlas military, and here's my reason for this, so hear me out here on why I don't think Salem should directly get involved. So Salem gets directly involved on the battlefield. The problem is, she's immortal. Therefore, it will be easy for her to just annihilate her foes and not have a problem. At the same time, this devalues the other antagonist because Salem would be like a crutch for the antagonist if they won. She'd be like their get out of free card or their Exodia, because Salem can't be killed, therefore she could just keep coming back and keep defeating the waves of enemies that can be sent at her, and it would make the other antagonists feel like they're incompetent without Salem. And that wouldn't be a good thing for them to have to rely on to win, when they should be able to rely upon their own wit, their own skill, and their own power. And if they don't have Salem come in and fight directly, that would be a good thing. Not only that, but Salem could also just have the control of the Barangles, for example, because we're going to see the Flying Barangles come in to fight at some point in Volume 7, so that would be really good to see them just fight instead of Salem, and then the antagonists themselves can plot and scheme however to take down Atlas without having Salem directly get involved, but still help them with support of using Grimm. I think that would be a lot better, and the antagonists could go with the tools that they have to be able to take down Atlas instead. So I think that that would be a lot better, and I think that that would show how great the antagonists are, because we saw in Volume 3 that the antagonists could take care of Beacon on their own without Salem. So they could do it again, I think, with Atlas, and since Atlas is more prepared for war this time, I think it would be interesting to see the antagonists actually work around the plans that Atlas has to fight off against Salem's group without Salem having to be directly involved. I think that would be great and give them a lot more credit. But at the same time, let me explain how this can help the protagonist too. So, if Atlas does fall, this is how it can actually help the protagonist. They can be motivated to try to improve, to try to be better, and that this can also teach them that just because somebody is prepared for something, it doesn't always mean that they're going to come out on top. This could be something that could teach RWBY that, Team RWBY, Team Juniper, it could teach all of them that just because they're prepared, that doesn't mean they're always going to win, doesn't mean they're always going to come out on top in the end. And as I talked about before, this could be a way to motivate Weiss more to try to rebuild the Schnee Dust Company if Atlas does fall, and also to maybe even try to lead Atlas in a better direction. Maybe she herself could be influenced to try to help the people more. I think that that would be very interesting and a very good thing for her character, as well as teaching Team RWBY these issues as well. And also thinking about this, the protagonists really haven't had very many consequences as of the past couple volumes. If you really think about it, Volume 3 came with dire consequences that had affected the characters in some way or form, and it's something that they'll never forget. They lost friends and loved ones that were dear to them, that they can't get back. But from this loss, this motivated them. This motivated RWBY, for example, to go to Haven to try to stop the attack that was going to happen. And this is one thing many fans, including myself, think they did very well in Volume 3, and I think that the heroes do need some sort of consequence. We need to see the protagonist go through something else that could help them better themselves yet again. And to see the antagonist win, well, that could be something that could lead on to another reason as to why the protagonist would want to better themselves. And I think that that would be a very good thing that they could try to do here. And one thing that this could do for them is that by losing again in Atlas, this would make the protagonist try to train to become better than they were previously. And what you have to remember is that these characters, they do need to train more, because they are not on the levels of veteran hunters like Crow Bronwyn or Raven Bronwyn or Glinda Goodwitch. They are not to those levels that those characters are, because they still lack the experience that the veteran hunters have. And while, yeah, they may not be in the academies anymore, they still aren't at that level. And this is where Ozpin could come in to try to teach them, and to also try to mend things as to where he had been hiding the truth from everyone. Ozpin could even teach them from his past experiences, his failures, and how to try to correct themselves from making the same mistakes that he made in the past. And not only that, but Ozpin could be the one to teach them how to master their aura. He could put them through the aura training that we heard of in World of Remnant Aura, and it could actually improve upon these students by helping them start to learn how to master their aura, as well as trying to improve upon their combat skills. While they have good skills already, this wouldn't be a bad thing to have them improve a little bit. And they could maybe even have a little bit of a training arc in Volume 8 so that they could improve to be able to take on the forces of Salem as well as the Grimm. I think that that would be a great way to improve on the characters. But I hope that the setup in Volume 6 for the antagonist doesn't just go in vain. I hope they don't just throw it away just for the protagonist to easily win, or for them to just win with no consequences. It would be a shame just to see all that build up for the antagonist in Volume 6 just to fall flat, because they just decided, oh, well, we're just going to have the protagonist win because it's the protagonist, and who cares about the antagonist? I think that that build up would just be for nothing if they did something like this. But if they stay true to the build-up they put in Volume 6 for the antagonist characters, and they have the antagonist win in the end, developing them, working on them, even giving the characters depth, their origin stories, at least some of them, then that would be great. It would be wonderful to see that happen. To actually see them be a threat again would be wonderful as well, because as of late, the antagonists of RWBY, they really don't feel like a threat, and to see them win and beat Atlas, I think would really put them back on the mark of feeling threatening again. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this video with your friends if you found this informative or useful, and follow me on Discord. Link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.